this is Maninrabu from Batam. I love listening to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
I'm Sela Sadakau from Vatukola. I only listen to Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Gold Benaka, I'm Vale and I'm working at Golden Grove Resort and I love listening to Gold FM because it plays a really wide range of classic music.
I'm Saini Sakio from Kashmir Wotoka. I like Gold FM, but only the classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
I'm Jackie Spade. This is FBC News. Tonight, family seeks answers after 19-year-old dies in horrific road accident. Fiji needs climate change funding. A horrific accident in Samambula outside Suva last Sunday has claimed another life. 19-year-old University of the South Pacific student Epeli Nduaimbe passed away at the CWM Hospital Intensive Care Unit at about 4 a.m. today. Tokasa Rainima has the details.
Semi Nduaimbe couldn't hold back his emotions, speaking to FBC News.
After worship, he came over to me and he asked that if he could go to the movies with a friend within the church, a special friend. And he introduced that friend to me that evening. It was the first time. And I was surprised.
This is where the accident occurred on Sunday. The rental car plunged 40 meters into a gully in Nambua, Suva. A 21-year-old in the same vehicle died on the spot. Duimba says his wife and children are still trying to come into terms with the loss.
He grew up with his two cousins. They're very close. They always watch. And from there, they caught that taxi.
The Nduaimbe family is relying on its strong religious beliefs at this time of tragedy.
As a parent, I've come to accept the fact that God gives and God takes away.
The government is now hoping to quickly secure funding to roll out its climate change programs. Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama has returned home from New York, having ratified the Paris Agreement on climate change and been part of a formal signing ceremony. Bainimarama says Fiji now needs support to roll out its initiatives.
After you've plans already in place to cover all the things that we've mentioned in the United Nations. First of all, continue looking for funds. That is more important than anything else.
Fiji was the first nation in the world to ratify the Paris Agreement. The Health Ministry is concerned with the prevalence of diseases like dengue fever, chikungunya and now the Zika virus. Taking a proactive role, the government will soon be organizing a nationwide cleanup campaign to destroy mosquitoes. Ellen Stahls has the story.
Health Minister Chone Usamate says a collective approach is needed and people need to clean up their compounds to stop the spread of mosquito-borne diseases.
We have a specific national month-long cleanup campaign that is being organizing, targeting the cleaning of mosquito breeding containers. The environmental health team in the ministry has looked at the provision of wash kits. WASH stands for water, sanitation and hygiene, to all the affected sites.
During his ministerial statement in Parliament today, Usamate says teams from his ministry have identified that 90% to 100% of areas affected have been assessed.
Health assessments, vector surveillance and spraying works have also been conducted within affected subdivisions. So it's not only the outreach teams going out and visiting people, we have had teams going out and doing the spraying of mosquitoes to make sure that we can contain them all around the country.
The minister says health officials are keeping an eye on malnutrition and typhoid cases which have surfaced in places like Koro. Ellen Stahls, FBC News.
Fiji can face legal action from its trading partners if it does not live up to the expectations of the Trade Facilitation Agreement. Permanent Secretary for Industry and Trade Shaheen Ali revealed this while speaking at the stakeholder meeting on Trade Facilitation Agreement ratification in Suva today. Ali Kimbia reports.
These trade and business stakeholders have been reminded to stay committed to their trading partners while reviewing Fiji's trade facilitation needs assessment.
If we make a commitment that is not implemented, as I said earlier, we could potentially attract legal challenges by our trading partners if they feel that they have been affected by our inaction.
The Trade Facilitation Agreement provides for the movement and release of goods and also sets out measures for effective cooperation between customs and other appropriate authorities. Sain Ali says the agreement will have a positive impact on our economy.
The implementation of the Trade Facilitation Agreement will further reduce the cost of doing business by increasing efficiency, by increasing trade volumes, by reducing costs and delays through better coordination and improved logistics, something that we want a comparative advantage in the region.
Some of the agencies that will be vested with the responsibilities of the Trade Facilitation Agreement are Fiji Revenue and Customs Authority, Biosecurity of Fiji and Fiji Ports Terminal Limited. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
The Freedom of Information Bill is likely to be tabled in the next sitting of Parliament. Attorney General Ayaz Said Kayum, while responding to questions in Parliament, confirmed that the bill has been in draft for a while. Said Kayum says freedom of information provisions can't be rushed.
In relation to freedom of information, this is a very large piece of document and indeed a very complicated document. We have done a first draft, in fact a second draft. We have also sought the assistance of the governance section of UNDP to give the input. This has been forwarded to them. As soon as we get that back, we hope to table it in the next session of Parliament.
Freedom of information is provided for under Chapter 8 of the Constitution. Fijian peacekeepers now earn $130 a day while on United Nations duties, an increase of $30. Defence Minister Colonel Timothy Natuva has confirmed to FBC.
It was implemented on the first payment in January, so that from $230 per day.
Still to come on FBC News, boarding schools in Vanua level continue to receive food rations. And renowned bands to feature at Today FM Park Jam this Saturday. Stay with us.
I'm Sarah, I'm from Tafwa, and I love listening to Today FM rocks.
My name is Freddy, I'm from Gamiatong. I listen to Mario on the traffic jam every afternoon.
Hi, my name is Salah, I live in Asinu. Today FM rocks.
My name is Denasa and I'm from Lutoka and I love listening to Today FM.
My name is Wulamila, I work at Golden Point Resort. I love listening to Today FM, it rocks in Raki Raki.
I'm Mary from Mandera. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
We love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Today's hit music.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Security companies owe more than $2 million to employees in overtime pay. Employment Minister Semi Koroi Lavisau says 31 labour investigations have been carried out by his officers. Companies have been put on notice to clear all unpaid salaries to security officers.
Our compliance section under the ministry is working overtime to try and regain this amount of money and pay them to the security company workers.
The minimum wage rate for security workers is $2.51 per hour. The National Building Code is over 2 decades old and is only applicable in the municipal boundaries. However, Rural and Maritime Development Minister Nia Seruratu, while responding to questions in Parliament, revealed that even this long-standing requirement isn't being used when building homes. Sainiani Boiler reports.
A majority of homes destroyed in the tropical cyclone Winston didn't meet minimum building code requirements. Rural and Maritime Development Minister Nia Seruratu says the law has been in place since 1990 but doesn't apply in rural areas.
There were reasons behind that as well. During that time it was a question of affordability given the stage of development that we were at. And this was one of the reasons why government then decided that the National Building Code, although relevant and applicable to all Fijians, but in terms of the implementation, it was optional to our people living in rural Fiji.
Seri Ratu says most houses in rural communities aren't built by qualified carpenters.
But the contributing factors are these: one, quality of materials. Some materials used in most of the buildings that we assessed were not of good quality, inferior quality materials. Secondly, was the quality of workmanship.
A committee under the Ministry of Industry and Trade is currently reviewing the National Building Code with the help of the Fiji Institute of Engineers. Sainia Nimboila, FBC News.
The government's Help for Homes initiative is not partial assistance, as there are numerous aid packages provided for those severely affected by Tropical Cyclone Winston. This was stressed in Parliament today by Attorney General Ayaz Said Qayyum, who was asked if the materials bought under the scheme will be VAT exclusive. Said Qayyum says under the proposed initiative, VAT will be applicable but not on the consumer.
He's actually getting the money for it. Now to then go and say there should not be any VAT, basically it will mean reversing VAT payments that the hardware stores have already incurred. So it's, it is impractical to do that.
The initiative is worth $70 million. Over 30 boarding schools in Levo are still receiving food rations over 2 months after Tropical Cyclone Winston hit the country. Eleanor Tarangaivu reports food supply to the schools have yet to normalize.
A burden off their shoulders. 15 primary boarding schools and 18 secondary schools in the north continue to receive much-needed essential food supplies.
We make sure that we supply food rations to boarding schools, so that takes away the burden from the school management in supplying food to them.
For Senganga District School, Ndrekete Central College, Nambala Secondary School and Nandongo Central College in Madhuata, the story is basically the same. School farms have yet to recover and the schools are purchasing food supplies.
Indeed, we are very glad to receive the rations from DISMEC. We were very desperately needing that because we were also affected.
It's very much appreciated at this time of the season that we are given these rations.
The Agriculture Ministry, following a request from the education sector here in Lambasa, has begun distribution of vegetable seedlings to the boarding schools to help replenish their supplies. The Principal Agriculture Officer North Paula Tuyone says so far they've covered boarding schools in the Mbua and the Kaundrave provinces.
So we are have distributed about 3,600 seedlings of eggplant, tomatoes and capsicum, total of 3,600, and a total of about 2,153 packets of Chinese cabbage, French bean, cucumber, eggplant and long bean, covering 35 schools with an estimated number of 1,637 boarders.
Come mid-June to July, the first lot of vegetables planted in these boarding schools should be ready for harvest. But for the time being, food ration will continue to be delivered to these schools. Eleanor Turangaivu, FBC News.
Music lovers are invited to a live concert this Saturday, which will be hosted by the Fiji Broadcasting Corporation's radio station Today FM. The Today FM Park Jam will showcase a number of famous bands such as the Makare, Inside Out and the Soundwave of the Pacific. Other local performances include the Vo Dance Group, Masi Dance Group and world-famous Rako Dance Group. Program Director Alan Stevens says it will also be a time for people to meet up with their favorite radio personalities.
It's an event for the whole family to come and check out as well, especially after the devastation of Winston and after Zina as well. It's a good way to bring people together, to forget about all that devastation for an evening.
The event is free and will be held at the Suva foreshore from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Sports now, here's Jamie with the latest.
Nakataki and good evening. In sports after the break, Jasper ready to defend Cook Games title. In secondary schools athletics AGM tomorrow. This and more coming up.
Tua, Ongonia Saurara, although we will take you on a TV and a market Tawa. Although Talitana, Warrona, Bula FM, and Nambandu and a set. Pula mana Fiji, nada ko plasio matairi, ngon mai na bulu tabiuni, au satu ko nanti, antu talita ina warongo ena Bula FM. Bula!
Bula FM, number 2 en seri.
The 2015 Coca-Cola Games Girls Champions, Jasper Williams High School, is in Suva and have come prepared to defend its title once again. Although the ultimate aim for the girls from the Sugar City is to take it back west for another year, they anticipate a tough journey over the 3 days of competition. Rohit Deo was at their training run today and filed this report.
The athletes were up early today, getting a feel of the tracks before the campaign begins on Thursday. The Jasperians are ready to put up a great show, regardless of the weather.
Yes, this is not our weather, but Winston and Zina have tried us out with this weather. We're getting used to it, and that did not bring us down. Okay, we were down but not out. We're back on our feet, and we are ready to run the race.
Satala says the girls have been reminded to put last year's win behind and concentrate on the task ahead.
With our bullet theme that we were given this year, first, blessed strength in humility, the girls were encouraged, and they were always reminded to be humble, to start humble, as we were the top of the in the limelight last year, and we had to bring them down again.
Jasper Williams High School is here ready to defend their title, but they know going into the competition as defending champions, pressure will be on the team.
Defending the title is not an easy task, okay? And as I've said, we don't underestimate any other team, we don't undermine anyone. We'll do our best, okay? The girls are hoping to give their best and grab as many goals as they can.
Jasper Williams will be fielding 58 athletes at this year's meet. Side won 21 gold, 9 silver and 6 bronze medals at last year's Coke Games. Rohit Deo, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, Andy Thakambau's school team has promised to better its performance from last year. The once queens of schoolgirls athletics have been preparing well and will be out to restore some lost glory at the annual meet. Vashnil Prasad reports.
When it comes to the Fiji finals, Andy Thakambau's school were once a team to beat in the girls division. For the past 2 years, the athletes have not been able to reach anywhere to the defending champions, Jasper Williams High.
We have been training hard after the zone and preparing the squad for the task ahead.
ACS won the girls division title for 12 consecutive years, and these girls know too well the pressure that lies upon them.
The pressure is on us to deliver, and we are doing our best. We are there to improve on our performance last year, and I know the girls are ready for that.
The Waimanukui Brigade will be fielding 58 athletes in the Coca-Cola Games. Having won 9 gold medals last year, they hope to improve on their performance this year.
We respect them, and we know that they are talented athletes from around Fiji, but we are there prepared to take on whatever comes.
There could be a little Jasper style of running, and given a chance, ACS will surely prove all critics wrong this weekend. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
Nasinu Secondary School is hoping to break its medal drought at this year's Coke Games. The school is fielding 33 athletes at the competition and have been receiving some valuable tips from former Pacific Sprint King John Lamcon.
We are trying to better our result from past years during Coca-Cola. For these past years, we did not win any medal, but this year we are hoping to get some medals. Our main strength is in the boys, junior boys, field events, shot put and discus, and the junior girls, shot put also and discus.
Nasinu won the boys title in the Suva Zone 1 meet last month. Athletics Fiji's sprint coach Mbola Tafo has welcomed the decision to host the competition over a 3-day period. He says this will give more recovery time for athletes. Vashnil Prasad with the details.
For the first time in the history of Coca-Cola Games, students won't be on tracks late into the evening. The Blue Ribbon final will be run in the daylight with 100 meters final starting at 4:40 p.m. and finishing by 5:04 p.m. on Friday.
Quite happy because, in the past, the 100 meters always finish almost close to 8 o'clock, and then when they leave the ground, it's almost 9. They get back to their tents or their camps. It's almost when sleep time. It's almost 11 o'clock. So the body is not rested enough for the next day's competition.
Extending the games over a 3-day period is an added advantage for these athletes.
We all say big thank you to secondary school athletics and the ministry for giving the games to run 3 days. Basically, when we go to open men category and open women events around the world, events are always done around 4 days.
And the interesting event for Tafo this year will be sprints. With unknown names coming in, he expects surprise in the 100 and 200 meters.
One exciting year because the playing field is level in the sprints category. There's no famous names, or everybody is almost running the same times, and that's why we are really looking forward to coming out to watch the sprints in the Coke Games.
Only time will tell who comes out the strongest to claim the most prestigious Blue Ribbon event come Saturday. Vashnil Prasad, FBC Sports.
The Fiji Secondary School Athletics Association will have its annual general meeting tomorrow. 6 positions will be re-elected, including a president and 2 vice presidents. So far, only Madhawata has filled in its nominations for the various positions. Submission for nominations closed later this evening.
We normally have our election every 2 years, and the seats that are normally where we normally have the elections on are the positions of the president, the 2 vice presidents, the secretary, the treasurer. The zone delegates are normally elected by their own zones. They normally elect whoever they feel is now good enough to be representing them at the executives committee.
Meanwhile, all the grandstand tickets for the Coca-Cola Games have sold out.
Almost every year, come the last day, we would still be selling tickets. But I'm surprised because of Cyclone Winston, but probably that brought the difference for us.
You can watch the Coca-Cola Games from Thursday to Saturday live on FBC TV. The Vodafone Fiji Sevens team marched into camp today to prepare for the last leg of the Sevens World Series. All players received clearance from the medical team this morning before heading to the grounds. Meanwhile, the 5 overseas inclusions, Samisoni Viriviri, Leone Nakarawa, Semi Kunatani, Joshua Tuisoba and Waisena Adelevu will join camp in London.
I want to see what the 5 French players that we're bringing in. But, in saying that, you don't want to do too many changes and then it'll disrupt the team's performance going into London after Paris.
The Paris Sevens will be played from the 13th to the 15th of next month, and you can watch the tournament live on FBC TV. Leicester City only needs 3 points from its remaining 3 matches to win the English Premier League competition. This after second place Tottenham Hotspurs were held to a 1-1 draw by West Bromwich today. Leicester leads the points table with 76, while the Spurs are second with 69 points. That's your sports for this evening. It's back to Jackie now with business.
Over 300 small-scale farmers, including women in Vitilevu, have received 12-day-old chicks. These farmers are the first beneficiaries of the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN Livestock Emergency Response Project. Over 4,200 chicks will be delivered to poultry farmers who lost their livestock during Cyclone Winston. Damage to crops and livestock by the cyclone has been estimated at over $208 million. No major change in the weather from the last 24 hours. Temperatures once again in most centers were in their low 30s, while Suva and Sabah recorded 29 degrees. The outlook for tomorrow is fine, apart from brief showers about the eastern parts and interior of the larger islands. Elsewhere, fine apart from isolated afternoon or evening showers, moderate to rough seas. And the further outlook is for Thursday, some showers are expected. Recapping the top stories for tonight, a second victim has died from the horrific accident on Sunday where a vehicle plunged into a gully on Sunday. Prime Minister Vorengen Bainimarama says Fiji needs climate change funding and more remuneration for United Nations peacekeepers. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. On to the poll question for this week, we are asking, are developed countries doing enough to fight climate change? To answer, visit our FBC website. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply hashtag FBC News. You've been watching FBC News. Good night.
आपको खरगंगा के रंजिला का नमस्कार। रेडियो फिजी की सुंदर सुंदर यादों का खजाना एकदम बचपन के दिन याद करा देते हैं।
हमारा नाम जोनी नायडू है, हम रहता है मलोरो में और हम टैक्सी ड्राइवर है। हम सब टाइम अपन टैक्सी में रेडियो फिजी 2 सुनता प्रोग्राम।
हम सिंगाचोका के हैं, हमारा नाम है रोजी। हम लोग यहाँ पे रेडियो फिजी 2 सुनता है।
राम राम, मैं रेमस प्रसाद बोलता हूँ, तब बताऊँ मैं कोई रहता हूँ। मैं जब भी सुना रेडियो फिजी 2 ही सुनता हूँ।
रेडियो फिजी 2 देश की धड़कन।